Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily time frame. Nothing's changed on the daily time frame except for the fact that we do have a lower low here at the bottom here. We can look on the H4. We broke this low over here. So I was looking for this 333 here, or a 335. It turned into a 335, and now we've gone and broken the low. I'm still thinking that all this is a correction, and we'll get like an A, a B, and a C up in here as a flat, and then we get more downside. That's the way I'm sort of looking at it at this stage, as all this is still going to be corrective for more downside. But in saying that, this could go from here. This could take off from here because we are at a low on the daily, so, this C wave down could be the end of the C wave and we go up and break the top. So, I'm definitely looking for buys. Like I've mentioned, I'm only really looking for buys now. As for the buys, there was a buy set up on it, but most of the majors gave the same correction, or a correction. They all pretty much did the same thing. We got a lower low here, and bullish divergence, and then we got a nice impulse up, and we got a flat here. So this was your opportunity to get into the buy. I'll show you the buy that I got in when I get to it. I got into a USD Sheffy. Most of the pairs gave a similar correction to this. So if you miss this trade, there's really not much you can do now. You could scalp to the downside here. Whether it goes and breaks the low or not is anyone's guess. But if you look at the just in here, for example, we do have bearish divergence in here, and we're getting a bearish setup in here. So you could look for an A, B, C. You could sell a C down. If it turned Modi for you, well, you could keep it and add in a wave 4 for the wave 5 down. But you'd have to be very careful with selling, because it may just give you a C down here, like an A, B, C, and then go up and break the top again. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is that I see as a scalp, and it's really just a scalp. We're on the M15 time frame, but there's a possible scalp here for a C down. And again, like I mentioned, all the majors are very similar. They all had a correction after a nice impulse. So that was your opportunity to get into a buy. AU, I would still like a little bit more upside here. We did get this C up. I was hoping we'd get a little bit further up to that 100 fib. But yeah, overall, I'm looking at this on the weekly, an A, a B, and a C down. So is this the top of this wave C here? It's possible. I would have liked it to get a little bit further, but yeah. H4, we had this large correction here, a 333. That was a complete correction. There was a little buy set up in here to buy this. Again, once we go down to the lower time frames, there's a sell. It's actually on the lower time frame, but it's mainly on the M15. Like I mentioned, they all gave a very similar correction. Like here, we got a bearish divergence, and then we had this impulse down from the news, then an A, a B, a C, a flat in here to sell. So you're either on the sell or you're not at this stage. We're starting to get bullish divergence on the M15, so this may turn into a correction for more downside, or it goes and breaks the top. Um, that's the two scenarios basically. GU, I'm looking for this C up. We did get this like A, B, C up. It's broken all the tops. So this can be the end of this too, and we go down and break the low. But I was looking for a little bit more upside in here. There was the buy setup on this that I've been going over for quite a few weeks. Like we had that impulse here, breaking this top, and then we had three down here. So we were looking for buys. If you go back through my videos for at least an A, B, C. I was thinking it might turn motive and we get 5 up in here, but either way, we still got a C up, so there's no way you'd lose money. And there was another little correction in here to buy too if you missed this one down here. Again, there was a sell during the week. Well, just on the H1, we had, as you can see here, I've got it. This was for the group. But yeah, we had a 1, 2, extended wave 3, a wave 4, and we got a wave 5 up. Then we had an impulse down. It's really on the M15, the correction. This one wasn't very nice. It was very difficult, like the AU. It wasn't a very nice correction, but it was a correction nevertheless. We had this impulse down an A, B, C flat in here, and you get that C down. It actually gave us 5 down here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's really not much you can do now. You're either on the sell or you're not. You know, yeah, because on the daily, like I just mentioned, this can be the end of that C wave. This A, B, C. This could be the top of the C wave, and it falls over from here. So that was your first opportunity to get into a sell, like I've been going over for a while. I'm looking for sells, and we got the sell. Yeah. Some of the corrections weren't as nice as others, but once I get to the trade that I took, you'll see the correction was nice, and it did give us a nice setup as well. EU on the daily, we got that A, B, C. Again, this has bounced clean off that 100 fib, which is nice. And we're even getting bearish divergence in here on the daily. So I've always been saying, be very careful here buying. And well, we had the 5 up here on the H4 and A, B, C, larger correction, and then it's gone up and broken the top, and it's bounced off that 100 fib. So again, there was a correction. Still got to be careful. There still can be more upside, of course. There is a possible bull hidden, but like I've been mentioning, it's virtually impossible to trade this because it goes and then it comes straight back down. So it's just scalping. It can go here and come back down, take you out of this trade in here, come down, take you out of that, and then give you another one up. We don't know if this is the actual top or not. This can still, we do have that ball hidden there. So it still can give you another high. But in saying that, there was a sell setup on this one as well. They all gave a very similar setup. It's more on the M5. You see it better on the M5, but they all gave it. We had the impulse down from the low. We got an impulse up, a 1, 2, 3 down, breaking the low. Then we got an impulse up, sell set up to sell for an A, B, C, and we got a running flat in here to sell. So again, like I mentioned on GU, you're either in it or you're not. We are getting all this bullish divergence in here. this is looking bullish. You could look for like a scalp. It's really just a scalp, because now if you're looking for buys, you're going against the trend. On the lower time frames, you're going against the trend on the lower time frames. So there's two scenarios, like I mentioned before. We either get a correction in here, a larger correction and more downside, or it goes up and breaks the top. Goes up and breaks the top. So, yeah. I'm pretty disappointed in, actually. It didn't go. I'm looking for that an A, B, C in here, and we get the C up to that 100 fib. It did give us a nice correction in here, a 335 when I go down to the H4, like I've been mentioning for a long time. This correction was complete with these 5 down here. But we had 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a complex correction. A 335 complex correction. And it was complete. So we did get the upside. I was looking for a lot more upside, as you can see with this arrow, but we didn't get it, unfortunately. Yeah, like a lot of people will call this like a running flat. To me, it's a complex correction because of the price action in this correction. But either way, even if you took it, you would have at least got break even. On the lower time frames, this was very difficult to get in. You would have got cut to pieces because this was the first opportunity. We had that impulse up in here. We had 3 down in here. This was your opportunity to get in. You would have got the A, B, C. If you didn't get out of half, well, it would have come down and taken you out at break even. So this was quite difficult. But again, like the others, there was a sell set up on this, following the rules that I teach. I mean, this one wasn't as good, but yeah, very difficult to get in this one. But yeah, if you got the sell on it, yeah, I'd be staying in it until you see it reverse. GY, there's not much to go over here. We got an A, we got the B, and I'm looking for this C down. I've been telling you that we've already broken this top over here, and we're getting a lot of bearish divergence even on the daily here. So very risky to buy up here, especially on the H4. We've got all this bearish divergence here too, from right back here. So we've got a lot of bearish divergence. This one gave us a sell setup as well in here on the lower time frame. So you're either on it or you're not. Unfortunately, it happened during the week, so you won't get to see this, unless you're in my group. You wouldn't have got to see the sell setup that we were looking at. But yeah, this sell here. So again, you're either on it or you're not. You could look to like this may turn into an A, a B, a C here, a flat. If you get a flat here and a sell set up, you could look for a sell for like some sort of a one. Well, this one didn't give a very nice correction, but a 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get a 5th wave down in here. But yeah, I've been saying any sell setup you get on this, I'd be looking for the sell. So you're either on it or you're not. UY, very difficult. I've been saying keep out of this in here. This is going sideways for a very long time in here. You're getting cut to pieces if you're trading it. So, we did have an A, B, C here now. It's gone up. So we may get more upside here. But yeah, you would have been getting cut to pieces in here. I'm more interested in the sell than the buy. But at this stage, it's a buy. Well, there was a buy set up on it. So, you know, again, it's on the lower time frames. You know, we got this impulse up. So as soon as you get a correction, A, B, C in here, flat, you know, you look for the buy. Again, some of them gave nice corrections and others didn't. You CAD on the daily, I pretty much ruled out this wave 5 because we got a 1, 2, 3. I was looking up for a wave 4 and then we get a wave 5 up. If it was going to go, I would have went. This is looking very corrective for downside. But in saying that, we don't know when this is going to end. You know, this could give us a nice large correction in here, and you get another one down. I was looking for a fifth wave up here, and we didn't really get it. We got like WXY. I was looking for this X2 and a Z up. This Z up here did go and break the ending point of that wave 5. Sorry, this wave Y. So we can look at it as completed a wave Z and we got downside. Again, there was this one gave a nice correction. This was a textbook stuff that I teach. You can see I've even got the fib on here still of this. And I may have even mentioned it in the weekly outlook last time, but you know, we got all that bearish divergence. We had an impulse down, correction back to the 50 fib, textbook stuff, and you get this. So again, there's really not much you can do. It looks like we're getting a larger correction in here, but again, you know, we're going right down to the lower time frames here now. We're already on the M15, so we're really just scalping now. And even this sell was pretty much a scalp because there was a chance that it would fall over, but which it did. But you know, it's on the lower time frames. Now I would be looking for a sell. Because we got again, we got bearish divergence and an impulse down. So if we get a correction in here and you get a sell set up on the lower time frames like M5, M1, well, then you could look for at least an A, B, C. And it may even go and break that low and this turns motive and you get 5 down. So that's pretty much all I can show you. It's pretty much just scalping on the lower time frames at this stage. We're in the early stages of possibly yeah, a reversal on the daily. Now, looking at the Swiss franc, USD, we've got the 3 down here. We've got this like A, B, C. I'm still looking for possible more downside, but I've been saying, you know, we even have bullish divergence here on the daily. So any buy setup you get, you know, look for the buy. And this one did give us a buy as well. The H4, there was a possibility that we get a wave Z. I haven't changed my count here, but there was a possibility that we get 5 up here for a 5-5. Sorry, a 3-3-5 complex correction like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 5. And this has gone down and broken the low. Well, it broke the low over here, you know, last week. I think I mentioned, I think I mentioned it last week that we did actually break the low over here. So now, yeah. But there was a nice correction on this as well to buy. You know, this is it here. Again, like many of the others, this gave a really nice correction, a lot better than some of the others, you know, other majors. That's why I took this. And I do like to trade this pair. We got a bullish divergence in here, nice impulse up, and then we got an A, B, C in here flat to buy. We're right at the bottom of the market on the daily. So, like I've been saying, any buy setup you get, buy. Now, here's my trade on the live account that I put on the group. So you can see here, we had this a B wave. We got this C down, and we had a little correction in here on the lower time frames. This is on the M15 chart. But yeah, so it's already hit the 100 fib, the first target. So yeah, you may or may not be able to see, but it's got live up here. So this is a live account. And I posted it in the group. So yeah, this is what I teach to trade. This is what I call a gimme trade. It's a gimme trade. We're right at the bottom. We got the bullish divergence and an expanding flat here, a buy set up on the lower time frames, and you buy. So back to the charts. Now it's giving us a sell. This may be like a 1, 2, 3. We get a larger correction in, well, a correction of similar size to this over here, and then we get a fifth wave up. There also is this X2. But yeah, really should take that off. But yeah, again, there's not much you can do here unless you're just scalping. This is very bearish. It's really on the lower time frame, on the M5, which I really shouldn't go down to on these videos because it's just scalping. It's short-term scalping. But as you can see, we got an impulse down. We got 3 up. So if you get a bearish setup on the lower time frames, you can look for at least an A, B, C. You're going against all this trend, so it's really just a scalp. But you never know; this could go and break the low still, and this can turn motive and give you a 5 down. So yeah, at this stage, it's just a scalp. If you get a sell set up on the lower time frame, you may be able to get a scalp out of it. Other than that, there's not much. You're either on the buy or you're not at this stage. Excuse me. E.g., we got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've been saying pretty much I'm staying out of it until we get a larger correction than these over here, and then we could look to buy again. We did get an impulse down, and we were actually looking for this up here to break this top. If you go back through last week's video, I was looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got that ball hidden here. Well, so there's a possibility that it goes up. And there was a reasonably nice setup on this as well in here on the lower time frames. And if you had missed that, well, you had this here to get in. But at this stage, like I just mentioned on the Swissy, at this stage, you could look for a sell, impulse down. You've got a rather large correction here. So I'd just be looking for a C down, an A, B, C, and then if you got a buy set up, you could look to buy. Or if you get another one up in here and a sell set up, well, you could look for a sell. It's just scalping. You'd be scalping the sell, and then you'd be, buying again for a scalp. Even the buy will be a scalp because we'll on the higher time frames, we're already starting to get that bearish divergence. If I just go back quickly to the M15. Now we got all the bearish divergence. Excuse me. So as soon as you start to get the bearish divergence, it becomes risky to buy. WTI, I'd really like to see this break this low. Overall, if I zoom right out, I'm looking at an A, a B, and a C on the higher time frame, the weekly. And then we got an a B, and a C here. So I'm looking for this up here. But first of all, I'd like to see more downside, at least go and break that low, or it's going to be very difficult to trade because we don't have a complete correction here yet. We only have an A, a B. We don't have this C down here yet. I mean, this C down has broken the ending point of this wave A, but I'd really like to see this a little bit more downside and then a buy setup to buy for this wave C up. It's been very difficult, this pair, like I've mentioned. On the H4, we got all this bullish divergence. We were looking for the sell here to sell. It didn't really go very far. I was thinking this would turn motive and break the low and give us that C down. It never did. And it broke the low again here. And so we got even more bullish divergence. There's really not much you can do on this except for scalp. And at this stage, it can really go either way. This could be a complex correction in here, like we got a flat here. A very deep flat to this impulse. And then we got like an impulse up again. So, and then we got an A, B. This can be a C here, a flat. And then we get another one up in here for like a W, X, Y, X to a Z up. Complex correction. And then we get A, B, C, or turns motive for more downside. So it can go either way. It's really difficult to trade this at this stage. I mean, with all the bullish divergence, I'd be looking for buys. But even this here, this was looking corrective still to sell, and it did go and break this low. Again, this is looking corrective still, so I'd be looking for a sell on the lower time frames. Overall, I'd really like that daily to play out. Give us this C down, and then I can load up for this larger C up. Until that happens, I'm staying out of it. I'm not even scalping it. Gold, we got I'm still really waiting for a correction. We got 1, 2, 3. I was waiting for a wave 4 here and a wave 5 up. Unfortunately, we didn't get this wave down in here. It turned motive. This last piece turned motive. I was looking for, if you go right back through my videos, once we got this 3 down in here and this didn't go and break the top, I've always been looking for a 333 or 335 correction. So we got 1, 2, 3 down here. We got 1, 2, 3 up, and I was looking for 3 down in here. That one didn't quite and go break that low. So I didn't really count it as a 333 complex correction, and we go up and break the top. But we've been looking for the last few weeks at this. Like 3 up here, motive, like 1, 2, 3. We got to wait for this wave 4, and then we trade a wave 5 up. And nothing's really changed since last week. Last week, the outlook. This is it's not a H4 trade, but this is still very much bullish. We got a flat here. It's more of a complex correction, like I teach, than a running flat because of the price action. But there was a buy on this as well. Quite a risky buy. It's mainly for a wave 5 up here, but it's taken off like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's taken off here in this 5th wave on the lower time frames. But so you could look for a larger correction than these over here and just scalp a C up like an A, B, C and see how far it goes. That's pretty much all you could, all I could really say about it. It's really just scalping, and you've got to be very careful because you're right at the top of the market on the daily. You got to be very careful. This could really fall over, at any time. So you got to be very careful. Silver's very similar to gold. This one we had 5 up. Larger correction has gone up again. So we got more upside. We were looking for this We're looking for it down here for this wave one. Actually, we were looking for it down here on the lower time frames. If you go back through my videos, weekly outlooks. But yeah, unfortunately, I was looking for. We had the 5 up. I was looking for an a B, and a C down in here, and then give us more upside. But again, like gold this term motive, we've got 1, 2, 3. So you got to wait for a wave 4, and then you can trade a wave 5 up. Yeah. And again, you're right at the top of the market. So, you know, Bitcoin, again, on the daily, we're right at the top of the market. Very similar to silver. We had the 5 up, larger correction has gone up and broken the top. We even have a lot of bearish divergence on this one on the daily. So I've been saying, we sell this, I've been looking at this for the last few weeks. This correction here, we had the 5 up, so that's fine. We had an impulse down, a B, and a C for a running or expanding flat. I think this just broke the top over here, so it's an expanding flat. Any sell setup you get, you look for this C down. So pretty much you're either on the sell or you're not. On the lower time frames, there's a sell in here. To get in this, you're either on it or you're not, like I just mentioned. I've been saying, any sell setup you get on this, look for the sell for quite a while. But yeah, on the lower time frames, I shouldn't really be going down to these time frames. But yeah, it wasn't a very nice trade. But this is a high here, broke that top. We had an impulse down in here. We had a correction, and this is, this is the A, B, C that you needed to get in. You may not have been taken out at break even here, but we're looking for larger C down on the H4. So you're either on it or you're not, basically. S&P 500, pretty much staying out of this. We're right at the top of the market. There is, if I quickly go to the weekly, because it is the weekly time frame I'm looking at here. We got, well, if I go right back, we got 5 up in here. We got a larger correction, and then we're getting another 5 up here. We're nearly at the second target, that 161.8. We've already broken through the first target, that 123.6 fib. So you're pretty much staying out of it now. You're right at the top of the market. You can scalp the buys going with the trend on the lower time frames, but once you start to get all the bearish divergence, like we have here on the H4, for example, we've got all this bearish divergence. It's only a matter of time before this falls over, gives you a nice impulse down, a correction, and we get a larger correction. So be very careful buying. It's breaking the top all the time. Even the H1, we're getting all the bearish divergence. So, be very careful buying. There's no sell setup on it. I'm only looking for sell setups. There's no sell setup on it. I mean, this was like the other pairs. It gave a buy setup. Like we had bullish divergence in here. We had that news. We had an impulse up, an A, a B, a C in here flat to give you more upside. Very difficult to trade because it's right up the top of the market. So it's going to be very choppy, like this is. It gave us the end of the correction. It gave the impulse up, and then it gave another large correction, probably taking you out of your trade before it goes and breaks the top. So yeah, be very careful. I'm looking for a sell. So any sell setup you get, I would be looking for the sell. I'll quickly go over these other indices. AU200, we're waiting. Any sell setup you get, we're looking for a correction. We got a nice impulse up in here. This is a larger C up on the higher time frame, like I've showed him previously. Last week, I think I showed it on the higher time frame. So go back and watch that video. But we're looking for at least a larger correction before we start to look for buys again. Any sell setup you get, we're looking for a sell. Even up here, we were looking for this. This was where the sell was back a few weeks ago. And I even put this in on here on the YouTube. We had this impulse, we had the bearish divergence here, impulse down, we had 3 up in here, sell, and we got the sell. It's given us another one down in here for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is larger, but larger correction. But yeah, so we wait for a larger correction, and then we look for a sell again. Daily, we're looking for the sell back to the 50 fib, or if I quickly go back onto the weekly, we already have the C up here. We have this A, B, C. So this may be the end of the wave C, or we get a correction in here on the daily and we get more upside to finish off this C wave. So yeah, UCAD quickly. This has gone up and broken the top 2, very similar to AU. I would be looking for the sell on this as well. We got all the bearish divergence. We got an impulse down, correction to this impulse. So, and you're getting a sell set up in here. So look for at least an A, B, C. Well, I'd be looking for an A, B, C. The DAX is it's getting very difficult because, we were looking for this to go and break the top. It did with that bull hidden. It gave a correction here, and I was looking for that to go and break the top. I'd be very careful with this one. It's not really giving much of a sell because it didn't go up and break the top. That's the problem with it. My internet's slow now. But yeah, very difficult to trade. I'd be looking for sells, but yeah, it's given another one down here with bearish divergence. You do have a bear hidden here between that top and that top, so you may get a sell on it to go and break that low. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.